Hey yo, I'm 1990s Mike. We have it so good these days with our automatic cars and electric razors. My mom said that when she was younger, they had these big black CDs called records. This is the internet. If you go on dogpile.com, you can look up any number of news stories or to find facts. You'll probably still want to use reliable books for research papers, but look at the speed. And I still have time to chat with friends while I download on the Napster. I'm talking to my girlfriend right now, on the other side of town, through AOL.
Hello, class of the year 2011. I am Dr. Hank Five. Dr. Macy has asked me to come to you tonight via the future and give you the same lecture I gave to my history of the English language class here in the year 2511. And might I say, Dr. Macy, you're looking spectacular as usual. It's hard to imagine a time when there were people who didn't know what the terms like LOL, BRB, and IMO meant. But those were more archaic times when people still used letters like the C, the X, and the Q. The C, drawn here, made a K sound, but was also used to make a sound. Since our letters, the K and S, already cover these sounds, within the last 400 years these letters have been eradicated from our alphabet. Another decidedly useless letter, the X, was used to denote a X sound, which can obviously be made with the letters K and S. The Q, shown here, was used to make a qua sound for words like quick, acquaintance, and quail. With these changes came the changes in how we spell over half of the words we use today. In Old Modern English, their elaborate spellings became cumbersome to use for the generation born after the invention of the Internet, especially since Old Modern English had adopted many of these elaborations from English's Germanic roots, and the changes made to it during the Middle English period by incorporating many French words and rules. Something interesting to note that occurred toward the end of the Old Modern English era in the 1990s. The lower class were originally the ones to start the spelling revolution. In poor parts of town, businesses with phonetically spelled names began popping up. Businesses like the one shown here and here. None of it was taken too seriously by the higher class, as they saw it as a result of the lower class's poor education systems. However, by the late 2300s, when English became the world language, it was decided by the UN, which became the world government in 2346, that the spelling of words was to be simplified for ease of use. To elaborate on the unnecessities in Old Modern English, there existed such things as silent E's, silent K's, the letter S's double function, and several other frivolities that I will not have time to discuss in this lecture. In Old English, this word would actually have been pronounced canife. In Old Modern, it came to be pronounced knife, and is now written in New Modern English as The silent E was once added to the ends of words to make the vowel long instead of short, like this word here, which in New Modern English is face. O-L. My final point from this section concerning the duality of the S is demonstrated with this old modern word. Now it might seem we would pronounce this word as low, sir, but this is in fact our word L-O-O-Z-E-R. So you see, the letter S was used to make both the S and the Z sounds. It's all too obvious how this would become confusing, because instead of learning the sound a letter makes and spelling it phonetically with ease, literate people had to learn several rules and memorize certain spellings, which could be quite difficult at times. They would recite them in schools, things like I before E, except after C, and to briefly cover a few other absurdities riddled through modern English, here are a few like-sounding words and their spellings. Shoe, through, play, way, should, and good? The list goes on and on like this. This puts into perspective why English was once thought to be the hardest language to learn. One might ask, why on earth did it take so long to convert to New Modern? This question is especially valid since, at the beginning of this quamester, we saw how quickly English changed throughout the Middle English period. One would think that the increased communications made possible by the Internet, the change would have taken place quickly. The downside to the massive increase in communication abilities was that it strongly reinforced standardization, making it much harder to push change. If you'll remember back, once King James had his accepted version of the Bible, and after the invention of the printing press, the differences in spelling died off to accept one spelling for each word. If you consider the English language from the 1000s and compared it to the English language of the 1500s, the two could barely be compared. The changes between Old, Middle, and Old Modern are nearly day and night. The differences in the Old and New Modern, however, are limited. You heard 1990s Mike talking earlier. He didn't sound any different. That's because we've retained most of Old Modern English's words and their pronunciations. The differences are merely that of spelling and the incorporation of new technology-inspired vernacular, while losing outdated references to old technology. I hope this has helped you all understand the exciting changes our great language has undergone throughout the last half-century. Be well, students of 2011!